Hello, everyone, and welcome to the third episode of Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, the podcast where we talk about anything and everything Carnival Cruising related. My name is Trevor Shelby, and joining me, and not joining me on this Carnival Cruising adventure today is my good friend Thomas Kennedy. He is unfortunately out for this episode, so you just have me. It's just a solo Saturday, talking about fun ships, There's no one here to rein me in, folks. So, the original idea for this podcast was that if one of us couldn't attend, we would pull in a stand-in, the person that could come and join us on the show as like, a special treat, kind of mix things up a little bit. But that person is sick. So, it's just me, folks. This won't happen often, probably. First of all, I hope you all had a wonderful Merry Christmas. And today is a special treat because it is the new year. Yes, we are in 2022. Which is funny to say because I'm still in 2021. And that just, in my head, it doesn't click well. So, it's like future me is in 2022. When I listen to this again, when the show comes out, it'll be 2022. But now recording, it's not. So it's confusing me. Anyways, we have a great show for you today. But first, we're going to talk about some Carnival-related news. Carnival has started a new 2022 campaign. It's already started. You've probably seen if you've gone to the website. It's called Thunderstruck. We actually posted it over there on our Facebook page and had a little fun with that. I called Tom and I was going, Thunder, Thunder. And then I would love if Akadaka or AC/DC could go on and could start doing a song. Be like, I was caught in the middle of a fun ship cruise. Oh, I'm serious. You guys. Someone's got to rein me in. Someone's got to be here. Anyways, so they started this new campaign. It's pretty much the bringing people back post-pandemic, trying to get people back on the fun ships, kind of an invitation to all of us to go and enjoy what Carnival is now providing. The Carnival of 2019 is still there, but it has changed a lot over these last few years. You're looking at the Mardi Gras. You've got the roller coaster on there. Wonderful prices on cruises for early 2022. If you could go on a cruise right now with my VIFP offers, I have $20 cruises. 5-day cruise out of Galveston, $20. You know how hard that is to say no to right now? Oh my gosh, I'd love it. Now, last night, I don't know if you were watching the ABC New York Times Square presentation of the New Year's Eve celebration, but Carnival invested heavily in that. So Thunderstruck was everywhere on Times Square. It'll be interesting to see if this campaign really pays off. I am a big fan of anything that is punny. So a pun that is funny to me is great. And when you say Thunderstruck, I immediately think of Akadaka or AC/DC as it's commonly called by the commoners, okay? But this idea of returning to cruising, I like to think that we're at the end of the pandemic. There are these variants going around. It is said that the current big variant isn't as deadly as the OG. So hopefully we'll see cruising thriving in 2022, especially with campaigns like these. Whoever came up with this, they need a bonus. They really do. I love it. Thunder. I love it. Love it. Now, in other carnival related news, there has been some mandates for the ship, specifically for wearing masks. We're going to kind of go over some of those as a news item and how I personally feel about some of this. So, in the casino, it was mandated on December 17th, 2021, that all sailings through January 31st, 2022, will follow these COVID-19 protocols. This is a fleet-wide thing, and it's in response to the Omicron variant. There is no smoking in the casino at all times. Guests must wear a face mask and sip and cover when drinking their beverage. So sip and cover is when you have a beverage in your hand, you can pull your mask down, take a sip, pull your mask back up. Seats at the gaming tables and slots are reserved for players only. So if you're going to sit down at the casino, you need to be playing the machine. The casino bar is open, but there is no smoking in that area. Smoking is not allowed anywhere on board during refueling, which I think that's like always. I'm pretty sure you can't smoke while refueling is going on. So after January 31st, so February 1st, smoking will be allowed in the casino, but only for individuals who are seated and playing games. Otherwise, you need to go to the other area for smoking. Now, for a lot of people in a January cruise, that's going to be tough, I think, because no smoking in the casino, and that's a smoky place. I'm not a smoker, and there's very few places for smokers to go on a cruise ship as it is. So they're going to be pretty much going to their designated deck area to smoke. And that's going to be crowded on those January cruises, I think. But you also keep this in mind. This is to keep people safe. There's a cruise ship that recently came back with I don't know, there's dozens of people that had COVID. And you have to remember that this is a cruise ship. It's a hotbed for spreading things like COVID or the flu or stomach-related viruses. Now, the other update that took place was the mask and physical distancing update. This was updated December 23rd, 2021. It's mainly for sailings now through January 31st, 2022. So for those cruises, all guests age 2 and above are required to wear masks at all times when indoors, except when eating or drinking or when in their own staterooms, and when outdoors if in a large gatherings and physical distancing can't be maintained. As advised by health experts, guests are recommended to use higher grade masks indoors, such as N95 masks, that have 2 or more layers. They completely cover the nose and mouth, fit snugly against the sides of the face, and have a nose wire. All guests must have masks during the entire embarkation and debarkation process at the home port and ports of call, including onboard pre-debarkation process during any Carnival-approved shore excursions, and on while any transportation vehicles, including water shuttles. Additionally, when going ashore, guests must be prepared to follow all local guidance regarding mask and physical distancing. The status of local guidelines will be shared with guests prior to debarkation at the destination. Vaccinated guests are not required to maintain physical distance on board the ship. It is recommended that unvaccinated guests maintain a physical distance as follows. Indoors, remain at least 6 feet from others not in your cruise companion group. As such, we encourage you to take the stairs whenever possible if you are able to do so. Outdoors, remain at least 3 feet from others when not wearing a mask and not in your cruise companion group. Now, after that, February, it's scheduled that everyone is highly encouraged to wear face masks in the indoor public areas, particularly those who are unvaccinated, except when you're eating or drinking, of course. So basically, it's scheduled that we will go back to what has been considered normal after January 31st. But just remember that these things can all change. They can extend these protocols as they see fit. They're just putting it out till January 31st for now. If things are still looking, kind of iffy by the end of January, then they may extend these further. Now, for me, I went on a Halloween cruise in 2021, and I remember not being completely sure what the mask requirement was, but I am so used to whenever I go indoors, I put a mask on. When I'm outdoors, I can take my mask off. When I sit at the table, I can take my mask off and I can eat my food. So that's just the way, in my head that I've had it this whole time. Every person that works on the ship will have a mask on pretty much regardless of if they're indoors or outdoors. So it just feels normal to put it on now. So it never bothered me. I never once was like, man, I don't want to wear this mask. I think part of that for me was I had a properly fitting mask. It didn't bother me. It didn't feel like it was restricting my breathing or anything like that. So I felt pretty comfortable with it. There was a couple times that I actually left my room without my mask, and I actually had to double back, and I went to go grab it because I didn't want to be that guy walking around with no mask on. In the interest of public safety, I felt like I need to wear a mask. I don't want to feel like that maybe I contributed to spreading COVID. So, yeah, it didn't bother me at all. Now, for the next few weeks, we are going to be covering cruise directors' favorite foods. Now, I've quizzed several cruise directors for Carnival, and the ones that have replied, thank you so much. You guys are awesome. I can't stress that enough. You took time out of your day to answer a really stupid question to what is your favorite food on the ship. And I got some great answers, some really great answers. So I wrote to Ryan Roseed, who is the Carnival cruise director for the beautiful Radiance. I asked him what his favorite food is on a Carnival ship, and he responded with, "It's so hard to narrow it down to one. I would have to say my favorite food on board would be any selections from the steakhouse and Big Chicken." Now, Ryan is one of the first and few that mentioned the Big Chicken because the Big Chicken is not on every ship. And Ryan, you are so lucky. I've looked at the menu. You're so lucky to have Big Chicken on that boat. Oh my gosh, I cannot wait to go on the Radiance and have some Big Chicken. So what we will do in this series is we're going to go over one of the menus to kind of talk about what is available and what's not available. For this one, I'm going to go for the Big Chicken because I think the steakhouse is going to be mentioned elsewhere. Tom and I have a lot to say about the steakhouse. We've got stories to tell there that are a lot of fun. So I'm going to go over the Big Chicken menu. Now, if you don't know what the Big Chicken is, this is one of the amazing eateries that has opened up on some of the newer ships, headed up by Shaq himself, Shaquille O'Neal, folks. And when you look at the menu, my mouth, it's already watering. This is what it says at the top here. Our exclusive Naked Truth premium chicken is preservative free and humanely raised with no cages, no hormones, and no antibiotics ever, for a Shack-sized flavor that is oh so good. So Shack got together with Carnival and they have released their chicken sandwiches and they look so good, guys. You can choose either dark meat or white meat, and it'll come with what's called BC fries. The first thing on the menu is the MDE, the most dominant ever. It's a chicken sandwich that comes with Shack sauce and pickles. The second thing on the menu is the Shack Daddy. That's with Swiss cheese, country ham, and Carolina honey mustard barbecue sauce. That sounds delicious. Then you have the spicy sandwich, which is the Shack Attack. That's pepper jack cheese, jalapeno slaw, and spicy chipotle barbecue sauce. That sounds really good. And then there's the Big Aristotle. This chicken sandwich comes with Munster cheese, crispy fried onions, bacon, and sweet and smoky Memphis barbecue sauce. Now, those are just the chicken sandwiches that are on the menu. I think out of those 4 sandwiches, the Big Aristotle sounds pretty good. Those crispy fried onions, some bacon, and that sweet and smoky Memphis barbecue sauce sounds delicious. You could also get a fried chicken basket where you choose either white meat or dark meat, or get a combination of the both. This is house breaded crispy chicken with fried pickles and fries. Oh, I'm gonna love that. My wife is a vegetarian, and I can guarantee you she will be getting in line at Big Chicken just to get her hands on some of that fried pickles and fries. They also have chicken strips, which is 2-ounce hand-breaded chicken strips with fries. The sides is going to be potato salad, house-made sweet and spicy pickles, a jalapeno slaw, and then they have different sauces, which is shack sauce, buffalo hot, barbecue, honey mustard, and buttermilk ranch. And that's not it, folks. They have a all-day breakfast. This includes chicken and biscuits. It has chili honey glazed syrup on top, a 3-cheese omelet with cheddar, Monterey Jack, and Swiss cheese, and a biscuit and egg. It's sausage or bacon with egg and cheese on it. Not a bad deal, really. Not a bad deal at all. Now, my absolute favorite food on the cruise ship it's kind of a split. Man, that 24-hour pizza is so good, but I go to my all-time favorite, Guy's Burgers. Oh my gosh, I love just an old-fashioned with fries. I love it. But this big chicken, I am a chicken eater. I love chicken. So this will be a big contender for my heart. I'm telling you what. So I'm going to post this menu on our Facebook page. If you just search Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, you'll find it there. I'm telling you, this is some good food. I'm ready for this. I need this in my life, guys. I need this in my life. One funny story about me and chicken, and don't know why I'm going to tell you guys this. This is kind of embarrassing, but I trust you all. You guys won't make fun of me, will you? So I am your typical white guy, I guess you'd say. I don't know how to fry chicken at all. So my entire life, I've just taken chicken out of the bag it comes in from the store. I put it in a bowl with some flour. I get some oil going, get that nice and hot, and I'll just throw, I'll coat everything with flour and throw it there in the fryer and cook it up. And it was fine with me. It wasn't ever the greatest tasting chicken ever, but, I didn't know what I was doing wrong. So this is like, seriously, the last couple of years, my boss actually asked me how I fry chicken, because I just completed some chicken, and she about fainted because I didn't put any spices or anything on the chicken. I didn't put any in the flour, and she would not let me hear the end of it. So she was very nice. She gave me a recipe to follow and what spices I needed to put in there and all that. And I made her chicken, and I'm telling you, this is funny. My kids would never eat my fried chicken for obvious reasons. But when I made that fried chicken, they couldn't get enough. And so I owe it to my boss, Natasha, because she saved generations of Shelbys from eating just bland fried chicken. And again, I want to say thank you to Ryan over there on the Radiance. Thank you so much for responding to this. And, you probably get a million questions a day, and you took your time during the first week that the Radiance had returned to the fleet, and you responded to me. Thank you so much. You are a rock star, and I can't wait to see you on board. So, as a main topic for today's episode, for episode 1, we talked about the Carnival Mardi Gras and how wonderful that original ship was. Back in 1972, that ship was before its time. And today we have the new Carnival Mardi Gras. And I really do think that this too is a ship that is just before its time. I kind of wonder in like 50, 60 years if people will be talking about this Carnival Mardi Gras as I once talked about its predecessor. So today we're going to stick to the restaurant theme, and we were going to talk about the many specialty restaurants that are on board the ship. We're not going to go in detail over each menu, but we're going to go over kind of what you would expect, basically. For me, one of the big things for cruising is eating. A vacation to me is, and I heard this was a joke that I heard, and I don't recall where. I might have been Jim Gaffigan who said this joke, but vacationing is just people eating in a different place. And for me, that's a very true thing. I'm what you call a foodie. I love food. I used to do a thing. I don't do it anymore because I don't think my lifestyle can handle it. But I used to do a thing called cruise training. That'd be like in the months before cruise. I would, like a month before the cruise, I would start eating big meals and just kind of like stretching my stomach in a way, just so I'm ready to get on board a ship. I'm not kidding when I say that on one cruise, I think I had 10 or 11 meals in one day. That would be me getting up very early in the morning. I would get room service delivered to me, and I would have a nice quiet meal out on my balcony. Then later on, about 30 minutes, an hour later, I would go and have breakfast by myself because my wife wouldn't have gotten up yet and my kids would still be in bed. And I'd have a nice quiet meal out on deck. Then my wife would get up and she would want to go to one of the specialty restaurants, like the sunrise dining, like the brunch kind of thing. And so I would go have brunch with her, and then I would have lunch, and then I would have after lunch, and then I'd have before dinner. I'm serious. I would eat everything I could throughout the day. And by the end of the day, I'd just be miserable, so miserable, because I just packed with food. And I've learned that that is just no way to cruise. It's no way to live life either. I can tell you what, having gained a lot of weight on cruises doing stupid things like that. But it is fun to eat like a hobbit, at least for one day of the cruise, I guess. So if I were on the Carnival Mardi Gras, I would be put to task. It would be very difficult for me to eat at every specialty restaurant because there's quite a few. And there's a few that I've never seen on other ships. And I hope that these do make it on other ships. And so we're going to kind of go over those now. So there's the Chai Bang restaurant, and this one's interesting. And I really, whoever wrote these descriptions out on the Carnival website, I kind of think it's humorous, but I'm just going to read it as they put it. So you'll detect some delicious Chinese and Mexican culinary traditions in the atmosphere at Chai Bang, our new restaurant. But even more importantly, you'll notice them on your plate. We've brought together favorite dishes from the two cuisines into an amazing menu that invites you to spread your culinary wings across the Pacific. Try a little from each side by mixing, matching, and sharing a dinner of flavor explorations. Plus cocktails made from authentic ingredients. Or stop into Chai Bang for a casual lunch that features noodle and burrito bowls based on our favorite ingredients from both of these worlds. So I looked at the menu before this, and I gotta say that everything looks delicious. I love Chinese food. I love Mexican food. Do I want to mix them together? I don't know, but I'll give it a shot. These are both restaurants that definitely deserve a place on the ship. So I think probably as a, space-saving move, they created this pretty neat concept that I am eager to try out. Now, the second one that we're going to talk about is Rudy's Sea Grill. It says here that Rudy's Sea Grill is the brainchild of cookbook author and master chef Rudy Sodeman. He has years of experience pleasing palates of vacationers, and this guy loves serving up smiles as much as Carnival does. But he's serious about seafood, and an evening at Rudy's proves it through the courses. Enjoy selections like seafood bisque and crab-stuffed lobster tail imperial, all served with an elegant flair that pays proper tribute to the beauty of the ocean, from which so much fun and flavor arises. Now, this one, like the Chai Bang, does have an additional cost, but unlike the Chai Bang, this one does not have a lunch menu. Now, the next restaurants that we're going to talk about are the Street Eats. This looks like it's around the Lido buffet area, and this is how it's described. Some of the world's favorite flavors aren't found in restaurants, but on the streets and truck stalls and carts where flavors converse and quality matter. That's right, when you're just feet from the chef, you know they're cooking to impress. Street Eats is Carnival's tribute to this food phenomenon, debuting aboard the Mardi Gras. With 3 ever-changing open-air stations, the first, Street Dream, specializes in the steamiest stuff this side of the spa, featuring favorites like bao buns and pot stickers. Then there's Mad Sizzle, which puts the skill in skillet with the likes of kebabs and satay. And we're definitely not going to forget Time Fries, which serves up every cruiser's dream. Fries loaded up with culinary creations from our chefs, like cheesesteak fries. On the Mardi Gras, you may be far from the street, but the flavor's right around the corner. My son, Max, loves pot stickers. So this will definitely be a fan favorite for our family. The next restaurant that we're going to be talking about is Emerald's Bistro, 1396. That's right, Emerald Lagasse has his first ever restaurant at sea. It says here that everyone knows about Emerald's love for Creole cuisine, and now you'll enjoy the authentic bayou flavors and fun New Orleans is known for on your vacation. If you haven't had the pleasure, we're talking about fried oysters, duck, and sausage gumbo, po' boy sandwiches. We're serving up Emerald's faves all day. And because flavors this big don't just sleep in, we do some great ones for breakfast too. Raw bar, incredible desserts, and Crescent City atmosphere round out the experience. This does come with an additional cost, and like it says, they do have breakfast food, and they serve their menu all day long. Looks great, just kind of looking it over. For some of the small plates, like fried oysters look good. They have fried shrimp and oyster po' boys, red beans and rice, and so much more. That looks delicious, and it's something that I'm really interested in, so I can't wait for this one. The next one they have on here is the Big Chicken. We've already talked about it today, so we're going to move on from that one. But I gotta say, just looking at these photos, again, it looks so good. I can't wait. Now, the next restaurant on here is the Bonsai Sushi. Bonsai Sushi is on a lot of ships right now, and I've got to say, I absolutely love it. This is what it says here. This is Carnival's onboard seafood and soy sauce spot. we think you'll enjoy our latest location on board the Mardi Gras. Dine indoors amidst carefully pruned bonsai trees, while enjoying a delectable menu with sit-down service, rounding out the meal. Soups, sides, sakes, and desserts. So the next time you're taking a stroll down the onboard promenade, stop at Bonsai Sushi for a roll or a box, or maybe order a whole sushi ship. That seaborne satisfaction for two. So I will say, I got married on a cruise ship and we had Bonsai Sushi catered in. And it was so good. I got to try so much with that experience. And so I highly recommend it. For me, it's like that memory of having sushi and being around my friends and family and just like the happiest day of my life. So that's what I registered this with. So I'm always going to be kind of biased on this one. But I will say that for the price, it's a good deal. It's a very good deal for sushi. If you haven't tried it, you'll love it. And the atmosphere that they have here on the Mardi Gras looks incredible. The next restaurant they have is the Guy's Pig and Anchor Smokehouse and Brew House. Now it says here, with choices like brisket, sausage, baby back ribs, and dry rub chicken, our pros do the smoking right there over hickory wood before serving them up at your table. Now about the brews. This house of barbecue tradition doesn't just satisfy your hunger, you'll also enjoy our all-new exclusive line of parched pig craft brews. There's a smoked porter, a farmhouse ale, a hoppy IPA, and a toasted amber, all brewed just feet from your table. Tip, come by and check out the free menu at lunchtime. Plus live music and lively atmosphere all day. Now, I will say on the other ships, I have enjoyed Guy's Pig and Anchor on the sea day lunches. They are a must go to at least one day of the cruise. You got to make your way over there. If you're a big fan of barbecue, you'll love it. So if this is more of that, but like lots more, I am so for it. Like it says, lunch is free. So definitely make this a stop on your cruise. There's also the Seafood Shack that is on most ships. If you're looking for some prime, really good seafood, this is where you need to go. Now it says here they have favorites like crab sliders, lobster, BLT, fried buffalo shrimp, snow crab, and lots more. Steer a course for the Mardi Gras. That's where you'll find this little shack by the sea, wherever in the world you might be. So I will say that there are some days they run some really good specials. I noticed this when I was on the Vista in October. They'll have some really good specials. And so if you want to get some great quality seafood, I highly recommend it. Now let's talk about one of my all-time favorite restaurants on a ship, the Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. It says here it's a dining experience that stands toe-to-toe with some of the best steakhouses on land. Except this one's at sea, on board the Mardi Gras. Ours features your choice of steak cuts, lobster, lamb, and more. And inside, there's even a full bar that pours great pairings. Outside, there's seating for dining al fresco. These are the building blocks of an amazing experience. Delectable elements that combine with great service to offer an evening to remember. Now, funny enough, I've never eaten at this steakhouse with my family. My wife is a vegetarian. My kids aren't huge fans of steak and seafood. So if I go, I'm going with friends. And I gotta say, it has been an amazing experience every single time. Way back in the day, Tom and I used to have a YouTube show. So we started this tradition of going to the steakhouse for a business meeting. And it was silly. had nothing to do with business. It was just us eating and stuffing our faces. I've gone with a big group, and that was a lot of fun as well. Now, used to, when you got dessert, you could get this gigantic cheesecake. And there's a funny story that I'll tell about that in the future. But the last time I went to the steakhouse, it wasn't as big as it was before. But I heard a rumor that it's come back. The big cheesecakes come back. I don't know if that's true or not, but hopefully it does. If not, maybe we can put out a call of action and see if we can get that back. Hashtag bring back cheesecake. I don't know. It's not really bringing it back. I mean, it's there still. Hashtag bring back big cheesecake. I don't know. I don't know. I like try to start hashtags and then never following up with it. So if you hashtag that, you're going to be the only one. Sorry. So the steakhouse is my favorite dinner restaurant besides the main dining room, which I absolutely love. But my favorite lunchtime eatery would be the Cucina del Capitano. The Cucina, I'm telling you right now, at lunchtime it's free. They give you this menu. It's like just a slip of paper. You check what you want, all these different pastas and things, and they go back and make it fresh and they bring it straight to you. Here's the thing. There's one item on there that stands alone, all by itself, and I beg of you, check that box. It is the lasagna. And I've got to say, oh my gosh, that lasagna is so good. So this is what it says here about the Cucina here. At Cucina del Capitano on the Mardi Gras, who you've got gathered around the table is truly as important as what you're being served there. At our table, you'll enjoy delicious Italian favorites. We serve them family style because we know that sharing large plates and sharing tales of your day's adventures goes hand in hand. Speaking of which, our walls are adorned with old snapshots from our officers' family albums, proving that the rustic Italian farmhouse atmosphere definitely isn't for show. Now, I believe that parts of this menu at one time was all put together by the captain's family recipes. So I don't know if that's true or not, but that's a great story to tell, and they should have that there too. I don't know. It does come with additional costs for dinner time, but lunchtime, like I said, it's free there, and I highly recommend it. It's probably one of the most underutilized areas for lunch. So if you want a nice, romantic setting for a lunch, this is where you need to go. There's not going to be a lot of people there. You get your own table. It's wonderful. And that is it, guys. That is the specialty dining restaurants for the Carnival Mardi Gras. That's listed on the website. There might be more to it, but that is what they have down, and that's what I am telling you guys. The one notable thing that I didn't include was the Guy's Burgers, but I imagine maybe Guy's Burgers is in the Guy's Pig and Anchor, or maybe they didn't mention it for some reason. I noticed they didn't mention the 24-hour pizza as well. And I know they have those, so there's just additional things that they didn't list, but that's fine. So what places are you eager to eat at on the Carnival Mardi Gras? Let me know over there at our Facebook page. Just search for Carnival Cruising Podcastaways, and you'll find us. Anyways, this is all I got for you guys for today. Make sure before you go, you subscribe to the podcast. That way, when we have new episodes, you will be the first to know. And if you have a chance, give us a rating on whatever podcasting network you are listening to us on. That way, whenever people do a search for cruises or cruising or anything like that, we will be one of the recommended podcasts for them. It'll help us grow and help us provide better and better content every single week. I will see you all next time. I hope you all had a wonderful, wonderful New Year's Eve. Stay safe out there. See ya.